Blessings and welcome everyone. Just a reminder before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign horoscope will give you the less prominent side story that'll also be playing out for this 2-week period. Remember, horoscopes serve best when observed, like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over all outcomes with your thoughts, actions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. If you wish to schedule any of my services or like access to more content via my Patreon, follow the links below or go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Hi there, Taurus. It's time to have a look and see what is going on with the first half of February 2021 for you. Just a quick reminder, we are on a bi-weekly system now, and also do not forget I did the Leo full moon video on its own, and you can get that on my main channel page by clicking on my avatar beneath this video. You do need to watch the first half of the video for the second half of the video, clicking through all the signs to make any sense. Okay, just keep that in mind. That was intentional, on purpose. So let's talk about what is going on when it comes to your cards. Well, for your first week, right, week 1, the big spiritual focus is the 5 of Swords in reversed, and there's going to be a big focus on reconciliations as well as ending of conflict, ending of a great deal of long-standing conflicts, whether these are full-on, family feuds that go back ages, maybe rifts in friendships where maybe, you all could have had a falling out, maybe some conflicts in the professional sphere, even relationships. But with the 5 of Swords reversed, there is a big focus on ending the conflict or whatever dark clouds are hanging overhead. Now, it does not necessarily mean that you have to welcome everyone back into your life and make them a permanent spot with open arms. In fact, it could just be about ending the conflict itself. Because with the 5 of Swords reversed, unresolved conflicts or a lack of forgiveness, a lack of cleaning of the slate, well, we can't have that riding around in our energy fields constantly and expect to be, in the best energetic and spiritual shape possible. And so a lot of this first week of February is making that available to you. Now, for your material shifts, you actually have the King of Wands upright. We're talking about your money, right? Your material wealth, abundance, jobs, all kinds of good stuff. And the King of Wands has the hookup, it seems, as we are seeing this big shift where you are actually able to follow the lead of somebody who is actually either going to be presenting you as in handing off either a project, maybe even just material wealth itself, or taking you by the hand in the direction of a job, a role, or a breakthrough that is going to pay off in the short term and the long term. Because the King of Wands does not do things in a slow fashion. In fact, with the King of Wands, a lot of you are going to be finding that you're actually getting quite popular, and people are actually very, very interested in working more closely and continuously with you. So even for those of you that are just curious about the idea of business and customers in general, it's going to be a very, very good week. But with the King of Wands, what we're also seeing is that even those of you who might be thinking about just the material commodity of wealth itself, the King of Wands is also going to be presenting you with opportunities to secure some kind of prize when it comes to money that is absolutely going to be not only, again, something that pays off now, but something that you might be able to continuously call on or draw on for some time. Now, as we get on to your communications, we talk about friends, relatives, platonic connections, other people in your life, you actually have the Fool upright. And this is where a lot of your social dynamics, a lot of your social relationships go through a big flip, but in the best way possible. It's actually going to be, this could be actually a revision or a new chapter in an existing friendship or family relationship that starts to actually not only bring in a lot more adventure, but also a lot more prosperity, a lot more growth for all concerned. But this is also actually attracting a great deal of new contacts into your life that could actually be not only very creatively and intellectually stimulating, but also ones that could absolutely bring some breakthroughs in your personal life and your professional life as well. Because with the Fool card, we are stepping out of a normal within ourselves, and maybe a normal that has been kept up with our social lives, our social comings and goings. And we are actually able to find very compatible companions to draw closer to us. And with the Fool card upright, this is a resonance on the inside. So this is not like a meeting of the minds. We all have similar opinions and parrot each other, affirmation, shitstorm, all of that. No, this is definitely going into a place that is a lot more organic, something that's a lot more connected in soul. And this could even be with the Fool card upright, a lot of you getting new adventures, new opportunities through existing contacts that are coming closer or meant to be closer and more prominent characters in your life. As we get on to your challenge card, we've got the Five of Wands upright. This is going to be a time where a lot of you Taurus people are going to have to be ready to not only put yourselves out there, be seen, more socially, professionally available, but also work in situations where we are not in a space where there is a huge conformity of thought. Now, this is actually, I think, a really, really good thing, right? We don't want everyone to just be constantly affirming and parroting. We don't want to get dependent on that either. That's an energy grab. It's an energy drain. It's like low tier vampirism. But with the Five of Wands, what's happening is that we're getting into a space where not only are we getting to be able to step into a higher tier of performance with our work, but we are also going to be working with a much more dynamic, active, and passionate crowd. And the celebration of that diversity of skill, diversity of thought, diversity of perspective, diversity of role, breaking apart patterns, breaking apart, all of that is going to be crucial. But with the Five of Wands, sometimes, there may be a butting of heads. We need to be able to contest each other and be sporting about it. Not make it about, again, anything defensive or anything personal. Believe me, it's a beautiful, beautiful experience to be able to have, your best friends and you be able to actually arrive at truth through the opportunity to speak openly and in a considerate way, right? We're not talking about venting and ruminating and just processing at each other. That's also a low-grade energy attack. We're talking about being able to actually use that diversity of thought and that dynamism to create something better than any of us could have come up with on our own. And so be prepared to welcome that in. As we get on to your relationships, when it comes to love and romance, your partnerships, we actually have the Three of Cups upright, and a lot of you Taurus people are going to be finding that not only are you going to have plenty of options if you're available to somebody new, you're actually going to be quite popular, but it could actually be through a lot of these new friends with the Fool card that we're also getting the hookup, because I'm actually seeing friendships leading to love and romance, whether it's a matchmaking kind of deal, or maybe we all just happen to get an opportunity to be having the same conversation at the same time, being able to unify in a completely different way. The Three of Cups is also bringing in an opportunity for you to have more fun with maybe somebody that you're going to be meeting this week, or somebody that maybe we've not been seeing in an official capacity, because they're also going to be expanding your social circle, but also blending very, very well with some of your nearest and dearest, the ones that you keep closest to your heart, the ones that you know are like the friends that are like, this is my chosen family. There's going to be some good compatibility there. For those of you who are in existing commitments and romances, the Three of Cups upright is indicating both you and your partner's social lives are not only going to become a lot more active, but a much more conducive and much more rewarding social community is growing around this relationship. And this may actually be exactly what we need. Now, it doesn't mean we're losing all our friends and replacing them with a million other people. It's just an adjustment to the round table. And with the Three of Cups upright, this does, of course, bring more fun, more adventure, a bit more spice of life. But we're also seeing this bring out more opportunities for expansive conversations, stimulating conversations and adventure in our partner, and being able to really get into a space where everyone has kind of come into their own. So that is what I've got for you as far as week 1 goes. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk about week 2. Yeah. Some people just didn't know it was bi-weeklies, even though it was written and said. So let's keep going. Week 2, you actually got the Tower upright as your spiritual focus. So the spiritual focus for the Tower, it's time to pay attention to where we're basically bringing or allowing things to finally end that maybe we have been keeping up or holding on to, whether it's a project, a social connection, a friendship, a relationship, a narrative, a pursuit, where it's done. Its ending is done. It's over. And with the Tower card upright, maybe it's actually come to a place where it's the cost is too high to even bother trying to maintain it. It's too high because maybe it's taking too much energy, too much time, too much money to keep up, or maybe it is costing us friends, or maybe it's costing us life, maybe it's costing us too much, especially because it can't evolve or grow any further. And some of you may actually be doing some final pullings of the plug on a lot of circumstances or conditions in your life that ultimately, have maybe outlived their expiration date, cheated death a little bit. But it's time to finally let them go. Let the house that won't get repaired come down. As we get on to the material shifts and why this is actually important, you've got the World card reversed. A lot of you Taurus people are getting a chance to reacquaint yourself with either a passion, whether it's a professional passion, a creative passion, or maybe a source of revenue, a source of abundance, or maybe even an opportunity to make a big score that we had to shelve or has been collecting dust due to us not making that Tower transition. And with this World card reverse, this may actually be something that is bringing us a chance to also reclaim a part of ourselves that we accidentally mortgaged for someone or something else, or a whole group, or a whole idea, or a whole path. With the World card reversed, second chances, or maybe first chances for real this time, are on the table across the board. Even offers from familiar faces and spaces, or maybe even those that you've been making wait, or those that you've wished you could become more involved in or involved with. This is the week of availability. Now, as far as your social connections go, when we talk about friends, relatives, other people in your life, your platonic connections, you do have the Strength card in reverse. And again, eye on that Tower. Some of you may actually be deciding that a certain friendship or a certain family relationship is just never going to achieve a level of health, at least at present, or at least in any time soon. And it may be wise, of course, to take some space to really kind of do that cutting off. Because here's the thing. With the Strength card reversed, we are seeing some kind of issue come up in the friendship circle with someone or maybe a couple of people that are behaving in a very unstable, unbalanced way. And with the Strength card reversed, it may actually be going from unstable and unbalanced to abusive, right? Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes the abuser was the first to get wounded long ago, and then they started abusing everyone else, or embodying the abuse they received. The Strength card reverse is saying it is not up to you to rehabilitate this person or this group or this situation. You can't redeem it right now. And you're going to have to know when it's okay to call it. All right? It doesn't have to be forever, but with the Tower card upright, so long as it remains as it is, might as well. As we get on to your challenge for week 2, you've got the High Priestess in reverse. And with the High Priestess in reverse, it's time to pay attention to where we might not necessarily be putting our faith, our trust, or our efforts in the right moves, the right maneuvers, or where we might not necessarily be paying attention to looking at things as they really are, what's going on even on the non-physical, for those of you curious about the spiritual side of it as well, where we might still be operating with thought patterns, behavioral patterns, or programs, survival programs even, that are not applicable anymore to upholding a life that really feels rewarding or prosperous in any way. With the High Priestess reverse, it could be that we might have to pay attention to where, look, and we take a look at, right, the friendship circle. With the Strength card reversed, are there people where it's kind of like, I need to stop caving in and giving the benefit of the doubt to an unhealthy situation? Maybe the High Priestess reverse, reversing a bad call that we made, right? Maybe we totally underestimated how good it could be, right? With whatever's coming back with the World card reversed. Maybe we totally underestimated somebody, or we totally underestimated ourselves, or totally underestimated our ability to actually make a transition towards the positive. Or maybe with the High Priestess reversed, we kept something going in our lives on bad advice. You know, we kept, we stayed in a certain relationship. We stayed in a certain holding pattern for far too long. We're going to have to do some corrective work, very much, the High Priestess reversed in the Tower. So for love and relationships in week 2, it looks like you have the Lovers in reverse. And I feel a lot of you Taurus people are going to be hitting this space where a certain status or a certain way of going about conducting our lives in an existing relationship, for those of you who are committed, is no longer sustainable. Or with that Tower card, something that should have ended more quickly for you is not ending quickly enough. Now with the Lovers card reversed, this could be something that has just no longer been a win-win or conducive to anyone across the board. It may actually be that continuing whatever it is as a couple that we have continued to coexist in, or maybe provide for or support or invest in, is starting to actually take more from everyone involved in the relationship versus actually give to anyone in the relationship. And with the Tower, I am seeing, yes, there may be some difficult discussions about how certain things need to come to an end and how we have to maybe accept certain endings or certain transitions as foregone conclusions. Now, this might not be always easy across the board, especially when it comes to situations where we are ending certain eras in a relationship or ending a certain status in a relationship, and a partner has either a different opinion over how things have been, or they might not necessarily accept the terms. But with the Tower card upright and the Lovers card reversed, we are not going to be able to go beyond this week without actually clearing something from the way we've been going about our lives, or clearing something away from the way we've been carrying on our household or our relationship. Some of you may be ending relationships during this period as well. For those of you who are maybe looking for somebody new, or those of you who are available to somebody new, the Lovers card reversed is saying here that some of you may be meeting some folks in week 2 that ultimately would be maybe coming with certain deal breakers, or maybe even getting very involved very quickly, or are very actively or passionately driven to go down a certain future road or agenda that absolutely is not in harmony with you and your own path, your own plan. And it doesn't feel like it's a very organic one that they're putting on the table. This is something that will need to get worked out if this new thing that shows up in week 2 ever gets up off the ground. So it's important, to also keep your options open, right? Your options really opened up in week 1. Week 2 just seems to be, giving some warnings and putting some focus on where entanglements for the worse are not necessarily things that should go on in perpetuity. So that is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.